The sun had barely risen when something inside Rafael Monteso whispered that he needed to return home earlier than planned. He couldn't explain it. It was an uneasiness, a quiet pull, as if the universe itself wanted him to catch something hidden behind the walls he had worked so hard to build. He drove through the oak-lined road leading up to his family estate, the morning light cutting through the trees, unaware that within the next few minutes, his entire life, his future, and everything he believed about love and loyalty would be shattered. The door was slightly open, the silence too heavy, and as he stepped inside, the sound that broke it, the muffled cry of his mother, would become the moment that changed everything. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and powerful real-life stories, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Grandma's Book. Your support helps bring these emotional stories to life. Rafael had always been a man shaped by gratitude. Despite being a millionaire with multiple companies under his name, he never abandoned the heart that had been raised in simplicity. His mother, Dona Marila, was the anchor that grounded him. A retired nurse with gentle eyes and a soft voice, she had given her life to ensure he grew up with dignity. And for months Rafael believed his fiancée, Helena Vargas, shared the same respect for his mother. Helena was elegant, confident, a woman who carried herself like she was meant for the spotlight. Rafael thought he had found someone who matched his world. The truth, however, was waiting for him in his own living room. As he walked in, he froze at the sight before him. Helena, dressed in her perfect pastel dress, stood towering over his mother, her face twisted with anger. She was pointing, shouting words Rafael couldn't fully process because his heart had slammed into his chest with such force that everything else became muffled. His mother sat on the floor, holding her wrist, her expression a mix of pain and shame. The sunlight streaming through the window made the scene even more surreal, as if exposing the cruel truth in the brightest moment of the day. Rafael felt his entire world crack, as though betrayal had reached deep into his soul and ripped away the man he thought he was. His first instinct was to rush to his mother, to lift her gently and pull her close, trying to understand how long she had been suffering in silence. Marila always hid her pain, believing that protecting her son was more important than revealing her own struggles. But her trembling hands spoke the truth he had missed. Rafael realized that while he had been busy building businesses, attending events, and preparing for a wedding that never should have been planned, Helena had been showing a darkness he refused to see. It wasn't just this incident, it was a pattern disguised by charm and beauty. Rafael stood up slowly, his breath unsteady but his resolve sharpening like steel. He looked around at the home he worked so hard to build, the home he believed would be filled with warmth and laughter. Now the walls felt cold, as if they too had been suffering in silence. He remembered the times his mother had seemed tired, distant, or hesitant to join him for coffee when Helena was around. He replayed every moment Helena had spoken with disguised impatience or tested the limits of his mother's gentle patience. Realization struck him with a painful clarity. He had been blinded by love that wasn't love at all. That day, Rafael ended the engagement without hesitation. He escorted Helena out of the house, not with anger, but with a quiet strength that comes from a man who has awakened. When the door shut behind her, it felt like closing a chapter that was never meant to be written. Rafael called a doctor immediately to tend to his mother's injuries, and when she tried to apologize for ruining his dream, he held her tightly, silently promising she would never again face harm under his roof. He canceled the wedding, removed Helena from all shared projects, and made sure she had no access to anything tied to him. But more importantly, he chose to rebuild something far more valuable than a broken relationship. He rebuilt the bond he had unknowingly allowed to weaken with the most important woman in his life. In the following weeks, Rafael made their home warmer than ever before. He began eating breakfast with Marila every morning, walking with her in the garden under the bright daylight she loved so much, and talking to her like the best friend she had always been. He realized how often he chased business success but overlooked the quiet victories of love and family. While Helena's betrayal had hurt him deeply, it had also gifted him a new vision, one that prioritized the people who truly mattered. And as he watched his mother smile again, slowly returning to the woman he remembered, Rafael felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. Near the end of his healing journey, Rafael shared his story publicly, hoping that others could learn from his silence, mistakes, and awakening. His message was simple: love should never silence you, never diminish you, never harm the ones you cherish. Real love protects, heals, and brings light even on the darkest days.